couple of quick pieces of business. As you guys are preparing for the ASVAB, two things. One is our major business is that we're really an app. And so if you have an iPhone on the iOS App Store, you can find us, free install, over 1,200 questions. Maybe you want to check that out. It's a great way to study. And second thing, if you're not sure if you're ready, another great way to prepare, go to our website, websmart.com. We have a self-exam there, 20 questions. Take it, give us your email, we'll email you right back where you're looking good, where it needs a little bit of work so you know where to focus your attention. Okay, so this video is on word problems. All right, so we already have a couple of word problem videos. I'll include those in the description box down below. All right, here's the first one. So I'll read it and then we'll try to figure out what the math needs to look like. Okay, so Tom drove 100 miles in the first 2 hours of his trip. Then he drove only 60 miles the next 2 hours. Overall, what is his speed? Okay, so we want to break this down, right? So if they say 100 miles the first 2 hours, right? So there's our 100 and 2 hours, right? And then the next one, 60, I guess he hit rush hour or something, takes 2 hours, okay? So in our mind, we're always thinking with anything like this, can I turn that into distance equals rate times time? That's just a formula that you have to know. It's going to show up more than once on the test. Distance equals rate times time, okay? Right, so if you add these up, we went 160 miles in 4 hours, right? Okay, so for your basic formula though, remember that 160 and 4. Basic formula, D equals RT, right? Rate times time. So the distance was 160 miles, right? Got that? Rate, that's like the miles per hour. So we don't know that, right? So we don't know. Rate, we don't know. Time, if you remember, it was 4 hours, right? 2 hours to go 100 miles, and 2 hours to go another 60 for a total of 4. Okay, so to figure out rate, divide each side by 4. 160 divided by 4, 40 miles per hour is a good answer. Okay, that's the first one. Distance equals rate times time. Gotta make sure familiar with that. All right, what's the next one? Henry rides 75 miles at 15 miles per hour. How long did this take him? Okay, so again, distance equals rate times time, right? So the Henry went 75 miles, there's our 75, and he went 15 miles per hour. So this time we know the rate, but we don't know the time, right? All right, so there it is, 15t, okay, right? 75 miles, 15 miles per hour, divide each side by 15. 75 divided by 15 is 5. So we got 5 hours for that one. Distance equals rate times time. Gotta know it. Okay. I guess we have 5 total here. So 2 down, 3 to go. Okay, on this one it says this person wants to get 90% combined on his 4 exams. His first 3 exams, he got an 82, 86, and a 94. What does he need on exam number 4? Okay, now, highly recommend that rather than just watching me do these, they all look easy when you watch somebody else do them, right? Is you hear the question and then hit the pause button, go do it, and then watch how I do it and see if we got the same answer. Okay, so again, I want to get 90, right? That's the average I want, okay? And then the scores so far are 82, 86, 84, did I write that right? Oh, 94. Sorry. 82, 86, 94. Okay, and then we have this one test left, the fourth test. I don't know what that's going to be, so we're just going to call that x. Okay, and divided by 4, right? Because we have this number as an average, so it's the total number of terms, 4 of them, and that's why we left 4 down here. Okay, so first thing to do, really the only part that's important that might trick you up, is you're going to get rid of those 4. Okay, so to do that, I need to multiply this side by 4, right? And that side by 4. Okay, so if I do that, these will cancel out, and then I'll just be left with what's there. Okay, so 90 times 4 equals 360. Okay, when we add those 3 numbers up, right, it is 262 plus x. Okay, so now it's not looking so hard, right? All I need to do now is get rid of that 262, so subtract 262 both sides. And that means needed 98 on this fourth test to get that 90%. So you're gonna have to do pretty well. So anyway, that's how you do that. That's how we set that one up. Main thing with these is just to get a lot of practice with them. Okay, and then sometimes they'll give us these variables. These are really some of the trickier word problems. Okay, so on this one, it says Brad is N years old. Matt is 5 years younger than Brad and 3 years older than Kevin. What expression represents their combined ages? Okay, so that's a little bit tricky. So let's think about how we set that up. So it said Brad was N years old, right? So right away, Brad equals N. Okay, so you have to kind of think of it in terms of the variable here, right? And then the next thing it said, Matt is 5 years younger than Brad. Okay, so that means for Matt, he is Brad minus 5, which now we're going to say, because Brad equals N minus 5. Okay, and then it said Kevin is 3 years younger than Matt. Okay, so if Matt is N minus 5, Kevin will be N minus 8. Does that make sense? Right? Brad is N, Matt's 5 years younger, N minus 5. Kevin is 3 years younger than Matt, 5 plus 3 is 8, N minus 8. Okay, now we just add them all up together. Now we got 3 N's here. Put those in there, and we have a -5 and a -8, right? And remembering that's just going to go all the way negative, so that gets us to 3n minus 13. Okay, right? Remembering, like on your basic number line, right? This is 0, -5, -10, -13. So 8 less than -5 will go this way. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's how we get to that. 3n minus 13. And one last word problem. Okay, this one says Brad weighs twice as much as Vince. Vince weighs twice as much as Phil. They total 700 pounds. How much does Brad weigh? Okay, so the best way to do a problem like this is to look to plug in. There is a way to go and do the math, right? But we don't want to. So the answer choices on this are going to be 300, right? And we're just going to look at answers and plug in. 350, right? This is for Brad's weight. C. 400. D. 450. Okay. So you got Brad weighs twice as much as Vince. Vince weighs twice as much as Phil. And then we're just going to pick a number. So let's pick 300, right? So if Brad is 300, then Vince, right? Brad weighs twice as much as Vince. That would mean Vince weighs 150. 300 divided by 2 is 150. And then Vince weighs twice as much as Phil. So again, 150 divided by 2, 75. Right? And then if we add them all up, we get to 525. Okay, and the total had to be 700, so we know that one's not right. So let's jump a little bit and maybe pick 400. See what happens there. Right? So if we say Brad weighs 400, right? Then the next person, Vince, weighs half as much. 400 divided by 2 is 200, right? And then Phil, who also weighs half as much, again, 200 divided by 2, 100. And if we add all three up, 400 plus 200 plus 100, we get 700.